Hello ladies and gentlemen, Xcentauri here and welcome back to another video. Now I hope all of you are doing well today because I am as always, and in this video we're going to be deciding which is the best aircraft to be using in infinite flight. Now this video is slightly different to anything I've sort of done before because what we're looking for today is an aircraft which you can pretty much use for almost any route in infinite flight, give or take a few long or really short flights. And we're looking for an aircraft which is perfect for landing at not just giant airports, but also smaller airports, doing long flights, doing short flights. So it's going to be a hard thing to find an aircraft to use. But let's head to Miami for today's video, because I don't think we've ever really done a video at Miami Airport. So we'll just go chill here at Concourse D. And basically, we're looking for an aircraft which can cater for pretty much anything. Now, I'm not too fussed about whether it's got opening doors and interior. Obviously, a live cockpit is a requirement because otherwise it's pointless having a decent aircraft. So that unfortunately gets rid of the 787s, the A340, A380, 747s, and all of those big aircraft. Now you can see that the first aircraft we've chosen is the 737-900. Now this is the chosen 737 only because it's the biggest, and it's got a really long distance. So we can fly for 8 hours pretty much. So 8 hours is just about a transatlantic crossing if you time it perfectly, get the right winds. So you can do London to New York. Now, if you're thinking of doing, you can also do London to Dubai with 8 hours, I believe. However, if you were trying to get London to Australia, this is not the aircraft for you. However, it is a great aircraft. Just look at this thing. It's a really good aircraft. Now, reasons why this aircraft is one of the best aircraft to use in infant flight is because it is newly reworked. I meant not only is it newly reworked. So a couple of years ago, it got a new live cockpit. It has a phenomenal cockpit. So we're going to start up the interior of the aircraft, and you will see that live cockpit in just a second. But the aircraft itself from the exterior looks really cool. It's really great. This aircraft is really good. There's a wide range of liveries we can use as well. So I'll show you all the liveries in just a second. But the 737-900 as a whole is probably the most popular, version of the 737 to use in infant flight, I'd say. You don't really see the 737-700 much. You do see the 800 because it's got the Ryanair on it. So those Ryanair users. So you can see here in the cockpit, we do have a live cockpit here. And you can see all of the screens down here, all looking very, very good and very smooth. Now, also, if you are new here and this is your first time, please do like and subscribe. Because we are growing like crazy at the moment. And hopefully, I'm hoping we can grow enough so before I head off to university, I'll be able to continue YouTube whilst at university. So that is the main goal right now. So you can see how crazy the 737 is here. And I think this is definitely one of the best aircraft to be choosing in infant flight. Now, I have explained my reasons, but there are also a wide amount of livery options here, going from the Russian to Lion Air, Turkish Airlines, Ukraine. I mean, you can't really use Aeroflot in Ukraine International at the moment, but you can use United, SpiceJet, Lion Air, Korean Airlines. So there are a fair amount of liveries. I suppose on the 800 there are a lot more liveries. Perhaps that might be a slightly better option. Let's just see how much further you can fly, because we did have 8.5 hours of flight time in the 737-900. But I'd imagine it's slightly less on this one. Oh, it's the same. Okay. Well, take all that back then. This aircraft is also just as good. Not as big. But yeah, you can use 737-800 or 900. Would be great for that. Now we're going to head over to an Airbus. Just a bit of a spoiler, all of these aircraft in this video are Airbuses or Boeings, but we'll go to the A321, and if there is a JetBlue, it would be ideal. Now the reason I've chosen JetBlue is because they've recently begun doing transatlantic flights over the Atlantic, quite ironically, transatlantic, Atlantic, and they are now flying from New York to London, I want to say, but I know they're doing transatlantic flights in the A321 across the Atlantic. Now, that does beg the question, what is the fuel? And it's 9 hours and 46 minutes. So again, you can fly an hour longer in the A321 than you can in the 737s. I feel like I believe this aircraft is more competition to the 757 in real life. If my facts are correct there, they might not be. But I'm sure we can have a discussion in the comment sections below. Also, quickly discussing the comment section, sorry, another thing to say. If I am not replying to as many, it is literally because I'm packing, like I said, for uni. So unfortunately, gotta do what you gotta do. Now, we can see how great this A321 aircraft is. We've got the live cockpit here. It's the same as pretty much most Airbus cockpits, ironically, all being Airbus aircraft. I'm not too sure if there are any working buttons in here. I don't think there are, to be honest. Only got really a live cockpit given to it. But I think, again, it is a great aircraft to be using in infant flight. There are, again, a wide amount of liveries you can use, going from Turkish Airlines to JetBlue here. As you can see, I'm pretty sure we've got British Airways. Is it Wizz Air or Wow Air? We might even have both of them on the A321. So you have lots of different options to use with the Airbus A321. And I think this aircraft, I would choose it if I'm doing longer flights over the A320. I feel like this aircraft's got a greater capacity. So if you're, again, looking to do long flights like New York to London, I think I'd rather an A321 than an A320, which is the reason I have chosen the A321 out of the A320 family, because for those longer flights, it's good for that. And it's also good for shorter flights. I saw an A321 depart from London Heathrow the other day, going from London Heathrow to Antalya in Turkey. So a lovely little 4-hour flight there, done in an A321. I'm sure there are much shorter routes as well with the A321 if you're desperate for realism. So I think that definitely puts the A321 on the map. Now the next aircraft, conveniently the competitor of the A321, which I spoke about, is the 757. Now you can see all of the liveries on here. Also, I forgot to show the A321 liveries. Here you go. There's so many liveries on here. There was Wizz Air, not Wow Air. Sorry, back to the 757 though. So there are many liveries, not as many as A321. We'll use Air Baltic for this livery, but you can just see here, going from United Airlines, Uzbekistan Airways, you know, if you want to fly somewhere that not many people do, TUI, holiday flights, American West, never even heard of them until they came in infant flight. But, you know, they look like a cool airline with cool liveries. There's Cape Verde, Dutch Bird, loads of things here. So where is Air Baltic we were using? There we go. I think it's a cool livery. Bit unrealistic being at Miami, but that's okay. Now, the 757 in infinite flight, it's a big aircraft. It's a cool looking aircraft. It is a good aircraft to be using. Now, not only, unlike the A321 and 737, is it missing an interior, I'm pretty sure the doors on this aircraft work for like cargo and everything. Yeah, look, you can see them all open up there. It literally looks like a skinny A321, just a little bit longer, I'd guess. I'm going to use this camera mode. You can see that this aircraft has an interior if you're someone who likes to go up to the windows and get some live shots like that. And that's not such a bad shot. That would be cool. There we go. You can see the engine and everything there. So again, this aircraft excels in a few features that the A321 and 737 don't. The fact if you're, you know, chilling at an airport and you're loading up, you want it to look realistic. There you go. 757 is, you know, the aircraft to be using. Now, going into the cockpit, systems, electrical, APU start, and we'll put the main battery on. And I'll just show you the live cockpit in here. Now, I'm pretty sure some of these buttons do work with regards to the lights. One of this one just worked. Is that? I thought I saw something switch. There we go. There it is. So the landing lights work. There we go. And I have no idea where the other lights are. They've got buttons. There we go. So that works. So that's pretty cool. I don't think the passenger lights work on this aircraft. Oh, they do. There we go. So for a cockpit in itself, it's much better than the A321 and 737 already. You can see that it's just loaded up, and it's a pretty cool looking cockpit. A bit like the 777, but they're too big for me to be featuring in this video. Now let's look at how long we can fly for. 10 hours, 17 minutes. These flights keep getting longer. Now 10 hours does transatlantic and more. So I think you can fly 6 hours or 6.5 on a really good day. So you add 4 to that, you can get from like New York to Turkey if you're really pushing it on your aircraft here. You'd have to be flying light and perfect winds, but I think it's doable. If anyone can do it, I'd like to see that. That'd be quite cool. But this aircraft in itself, it's a great aircraft in infant flight. I think it's lovely. You know, it's still flying in real life as well. Not fully retired yet, so it's a great option for you, of course. And the final aircraft for the best aircraft to be using in infant flight, we've got the A330-300, and we will be using Turkish Airlines livery. Now, this is the final aircraft, so we've got the 737-900, A321, 757, A330-300. Now, I will have to choose which is your best option, but I'm pretty sure, like the 757, the A330, it's a big aircraft. It's got a big range of probably 23 hours. Look at that. Now, this aircraft is perfect now for really long flights. However, it isn't quite ideal if you're doing shorter routes, unfortunately. But again, we'll get that live cockpit going up. It's the same as the A321 cockpit, so there's nothing really new in it. But the A330-300 is pretty much known as the butter queen in infinite flight. Getting a smooth landing on this aircraft is not that tricky at all. In fact, many people have done it before, and it's very common. So you can see the cockpit coming to life here. We'll just check if any of these buttons are working while we wait. Nope, and nope. So there are no buttons working. I suppose that gives the 75 cockpit a little bit of an up, but you can see the aircraft itself is good. You know, it's full working. It's a nice niche little looking aircraft. However, unfortunately, I don't think it's quite good enough. You know, the cockpit is the same as the A321. So if I did have to make a choice of what is the best all-round aircraft to use in infant flight, I'd be leaning towards the 757. Now, my reasons for this is, as I spoke about the routes, 10 hours of fuel is pretty good. You know, if you want to go longer, you're going to have to do a stopover anyway, and that might even increase your realism if the actual route requires stopovers. I think if you're definitely a long haul, you know, someone who really loves their long haul routes, I would definitely recommend the A330-300. But if you're more of a short haul dude or medium haul dude, the 757 is your go-to aircraft. So if you did find this video useful and you did enjoy it and you are new here and are not subscribed, please make sure you like and subscribe, because again, like I said, all of the support means everything, and the more support we can get going into me starting university will pretty much be whether I can continue attempting daily YouTube videos, as it's going to be very hard for me to balance both. However, I think it will be a good idea. So again, if you did enjoy, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next YouTube video. Good night.
Find your way.